back in the day, even when you think about responsible AI and trust AI, there's no place that becomes more important outside of security than in your financial data.
You gotta have good numbers.
You do not want to get those numbers messed up. And so knowing that we have that background and can put sort of the trust brand on these things, it gives, I think, some relief to our customers who are trying to figure out, how do I do this and if it's real? And for our partners, it then helps them lead into this AI empowered world because they're delivering on things that will just work.
And when you think about, you have a broad range of partners, what are the outcomes that you're looking for from partners? And maybe that's not fair because there's so many different kinds, but I'm wondering if there's any way that you can
let me see if I can.
And then also, how do you measure that?
Yeah, no, it's a great question.
Yeah. Welcome back to another episode of Inside Partnering. Chip Rogers here. And gosh, I'm so excited to be joined by Gretchen O'Hara. Gretchen, welcome.
Thank you so much, Chip. It's nice to be here. I've been wanting to get on your podcast for a while, so this is fun to catch up.
That's awesome. Yeah. Your career, so many years at Microsoft, and you were just an icon at Microsoft and a leader, I think 21 years, is that?
Yeah, I don't want to count. I'm like my 18-year plus. Yeah, it was a while.
Yeah, terrific. And then most recently with Splunk for three or 4 years, and then with the Cisco acquisition and everything. And now you're with Sage, which is really exciting.
I'm really excited. I'm looking forward to having the conversation with you today. But thank you. It's been an incredible journey, and Sage is an incredible company to take this next step. So we can talk more a little bit about it.
Yeah, let's do that. I'm excited to hear. And so just formal introduction, Executive Vice President of Strategic Partnerships and Business Development. I know it's a mouthful, but basically you're channel chief for Sage and manage all the partnerships. And Sage has a lot of different kinds of partnerships, of course, SI partners and MSPs and technology partners, ISVs. And then also you have the accounting firms and others, agencies as well. It's pretty broad. And by the way, everything's mixing,
and it's all mixing together. You bring up one of the things that I love about Sage and the opportunity, just being in channel leadership and being advocate for partnerships and ecosystem my whole career, is that it's a very complex ecosystem. There's not one type of partner that Sage works with. And for us to be able to grow and continue to scale, we need to wrap arms around the entire ecosystem, which your point was, we have deep system integrators, we have advisors, we have accountant consultants, we have ISVs and developers that fit into there. We have VARs, managed service providers. All of these different partners are building on their capabilities, not only in our space of finance and ERP, but I think more importantly, what cloud and AI is going to look like in the future for these partners. So it's been a really exciting opportunity to hear from all of them over the last 4.5 weeks. And I know I'll be learning a lot more.
Yeah. I love that. I think it is. And you just laid out, there are so many different kinds of partners that all want to be a part of the ecosystem, right? They all have a different role to play, and some of them play multiple roles. And so it's fun, it's exciting, it's interesting, it's complex though as well. It has its challenges. So why don't we start, Gretchen, with your now 4 months into the role?
Not 4 months. I'm 5.5 weeks.
Sorry about that.
But yeah, 4 weeks into the role, but I'll take it. I've had a little bit of chance to get my feet wet.
Yeah. What drew you to Sage, and where do you see within your role the kind of impact that you will see in terms of Sage's next stage of growth?
Yeah. As you had mentioned in our introduction, I've managed many partners and ecosystems through my career at Microsoft, and then most recently at Splunk. But I always had an eye on Sage, even back when I was running developer at Microsoft. Sage was a unique partner because of the ecosystem that it had. And in fact, I always was really envious of what Sage had in terms of that deep partner commitment and almost this inherent sort of community that has really rallied around and built Sage the company. But at the same time, my path has been more on cloud and AI. I've been really focused in that particular area. And AI has been a buzzword for a long time. I was on early journeys with that, even at Microsoft. But I know, and I knew back then that I know now, that AI is going to have very practical impact to the ecosystem. And where I think it is going to start first will be in areas like in finance and accounting, areas where we can really help on the productivity side and elevate the business user's role in a way that becomes very practical, a way that becomes very productive, very efficient. And so I think this is where you're going to see a lot of this out in first areas of full production. And so with Sage's AI first mentality and vision, it drew me to this incredible opportunity, which you have this, as we talked about, a diverse ecosystem, an incredible innovation story grounded on 40 years of data that makes Sage set up well for the AI era. But how do we get our partners all there? How do we ultimately get our partner ecosystem moving into not only cloud first, but AI first capabilities in their solutions? And that requires a lot of thinking and change and ways to really partner with our partners to be that force multiplier at scale. So to me, it had all the exciting things of the innovation and the opportunity and the story, an incredible value of an ecosystem that we want to transform. And so I'm here to drive that transformation work at Sage.
That's exciting. What a great opportunity.
It is. It's really exciting. And it's been rewarding just talking to partners around the globe. And right now I'm in full listening mode. Your listeners out there, welcoming all feedback. I'm monitoring my social channels. I'm really trying to learn from you all. But one thing is very clear is that the partners are buzzing, and there's just an opportunity that I think our ecosystem at Sage sees. And now it's like, how do we seize on that opportunity and actually turn that into the next step of reality? So everyone's excited.
And to that point, Gretchen, you just had the Sage Future for Partners in Barcelona. What an incredible event, and what a great way to be an introduction.
I know.
Just right in, and there you are with everybody.
It was incredible onboarding. I don't know if it could have been planned more perfectly.
So tell me about that, about the event, and about, you had some really exciting announcements coming out of that.
We really did. First of all, Sage Future for Partners is an exciting event that is dedicated to our partner ecosystem. It's not only an opportunity to get alignment on where our future is and where to bet with Sage on from a practice perspective, but it's an opportunity for partner to partner and building that community within themselves. And it's a forum to really unlock and unharness the potential of partners. And I saw it firsthand, partners collaborating with partners. How do they go after this particular vertical or micro vertical together? Implementation services with VARs, looking at how to expand with managed service providers, lots of conversations. So very exciting. But we had some really exciting announcements as well that I think were very relevant for our partners. And maybe just I'll highlight a couple I think is really exciting. Yeah. The first is we announced something called the Sage AI for Developers program. And this is in partnership with AWS. So we are leveraging the AWS agentic AI marketplace to speed to market our partners' ability to build essentially AI agents embedded right into Sage and its workflow. So it's going to provide real value and innovation on top of the core capabilities that our partners are doing. We're partnering with AWS because it provides the security and foundation and the ability to scale them. And partners are familiar with the Bedrock environment. And together, then we can speed up that innovation with AI agents that will be a big component of essentially how you work with Sage and interface with Sage in the future. Lots of interest on that, ability to sign up for our early adopters program now and just go out to Sage and check it out if you're in the space and you're looking to grow or even drive incremental revenue and value with your customers, these agentic AI workflow and agent capabilities are going to be enormous value into the Sage network. So that was really exciting. And then to help our partners go even faster, we also announced one of our own agents, the Finance Intelligent Agent. And this essentially helps then our partners with prepackaged agents, if you will, that they can then provide instant value to their customers without having to build anything their own. So they can expand upon this, but it gets, again, customers seeing the value of Sage using Copilot as a way to become how you interact. And then these intelligent agents will start to work in the background and create a ton of productivity for our customers. And our partners now can have higher value conversations because some of these things are now already built in favor of our partners. So that was a very exciting announcement. And then the third one, I think for partners that's very exciting is we announced Sage's X3 for the cloud. And X3 has been essentially our manufacturing operations deeper product, and has been a very exciting product. And we just recommitted to our partner ecosystem that this is a big bet for Sage. I think sometimes we got to be extremely clear on where partners should bet and where maybe it's okay, but directionally, where do you need to put your chips all in?
Right.
Where do you have to see the future? And so we made big announcements around that, having a cloud managed service offering to be able to help partners scale that faster, as well as essentially having to get out of own private cloud offerings and other sort of hosted options. So really exciting there. And I think partners were excited about the double down on the X3 side. So lots of that all around opportunity for our partners.
I love that, because I think it also, that's X3 Cloud then is focused more on the industry, on very specific industry solutions,
Yes.
which I think partners will love, right? Because then
They
they
love
can get very deep into capabilities and they have expertise in those, and
That's
they can really
right.
bring that.
And it's one of the things that I've always been a fan of industry forever. And one of the things that it does for our partners is it really differentiates their value, to your point. It creates that level of specialization that Sage will never get full last mile, but a customer needs to speak in the language that they operate in. And the more value you can bring into not just the industry, but in the vertical, into even a micro vertical, now you as a partner are speaking the language of the SMB customer.
Yeah.
And that differentiates in such a huge way. So our partners are extremely excited about that. We're, again, I think, betting on a deeper industry strategy as well. And it just gives more opportunity for differentiation and value creation for our ecosystem.
Love it. Love it. Tell me a little bit more about Sage AI developer solutions as well. I think I had seen that it was built on Bedrock. That's really cool. But I had not heard until you just mentioned it that it will help partners deploy on the agent marketplace.
Yeah.
Which is awesome. That's been growing. So I'm talking to Matt Shenshin later today.
Fantastic.
So,
good. Okay. Tell him I said hi.
So I will tell him. I'll tell him we talked about it, and
Perfect.
and I know that it's grown. When it launched, it was like 900. So now it's up to like a couple thousand. So that is really, there's a lot of partner investment that's going into that. So I think that sounds like a really great value for partners.
Yeah, no question. And I think, a lot of partners want to be able to, again, make their bet on how they're going to get these agents into the hands of customers and make that as friction free as possible and have the security and capability around that. So I think that's going to be a big bet. AWS is going to grow. We're betting on that as well. And it gives direction to our partners on where to invest. So I think we're going to see like the acceleration on that one in a big way. But the other one that I think is really incredible about AI, the Sage's AI for developers, is we have also launched essentially our trust brand. And one of the things that, back in the day, even when you think about responsible AI and trust AI, there's no place that becomes more important outside of security than in your
Counting.
financial data.
You gotta have good numbers.
You do not want to get those numbers messed up. And there's a lot of hype around a lot of startups coming. I'm sure that you're seeing them come out of areas in the Bay and others that tout this new agentic AI opportunity, but it has to be grounded in hundreds of thousands of transactions and millions of data. And think of Sage now, some odd, 40 years of ongoing data and understanding the financials behind it, the
As a
network.
customer,
The
who are you going to trust? You're going to trust somebody that knows.
So we can't screw it up. And so knowing that we have that background and can put sort of the trust brand on these things, it gives, I think, some relief to our customers who are trying to figure out, how do I do this and if it's real? And for our partners, it then helps them lead into this AI empowered world because they're delivering on things that will just work. And that's going to be the key, which is there's a lot of hype. But when you come to core areas like accounting and financials, it's gotta work and it's gotta be right.
Right.
And
Any hallucinations.
That's as soon as you start to self-doubt, like, what this actually means, is this right? Now you've lost the whole productivity that was supposed to come from the beginning. We don't see AI as a replacement for people. We see AI is an enablement for productivity, right? It's the ability for our partners to scale and move upstream on value. It's opportunity for customers to be more productive in that work environment, putting their skills into things around the analysis and insight and letting some of the reports and agents do its work.
Gretchen, for partners out there, do you have any initial thoughts about where the investment areas might be in the developer solutions? Are there certain kinds of either horizontal, vertical, whatever, anything that's you're seeing?
We're seeing honestly, like across the board. We're seeing everything from SIs build intelligent agents to help with faster onboarding, to ISVs and developers integrating additional workflows into last mile, let's say in construction or real estate. We're seeing even the horizontals where you're looking at just being able to do data migration and aggregate data and being able to have those in some powerful reports and analytics. And all of those things are now going to be topped with agents that can help be proactive on how to think of these things. So I think that's what so much excitement, because the technology is there, the backing of Sage now, and we've been working on this for 7 years at Sage. It's not like we just came on this. Like, we've been building our AI strategy for a very long time, but it has to be ready and it has to be real, it has to be authentic, and customers and partners have to trust it. So we've been slowly getting ready, and that's what we'll do on the developer program too. It's early adopter. We will work with partners to develop these first set of agents. They will be tested and trusted, and then we'll release them to the market. So we're not going to just unleash and all of a sudden there'll be 100,000 agents tomorrow. And it will be in a managed way, just so that we can guarantee those capabilities in the short term, and then of course we'll scale over time.
Matt wouldn't mind if you had 100,000 agents on the market.
I wouldn't mind that either. I wouldn't mind that either. We gotta get the first round right. But you can imagine, to your point, think about how many agents each ISV might have in various parts of their product tied right into Sage platform. You could start to look at 10, 12 different agents that one partner might even just be delivering. So you can see the multiplier effect of this in a very fast way.
Right.
So the opportunity is there. I think for us now, it's really about, okay, now we got to get the monetization right. And how do we look at how do we charge for these agents and what that looks like? And I think it's the next step we'll work with the partner community on.
Yeah. Cool. Exciting.
Yeah.
When you think about, shifting gears a little bit, when you think about, you have a broad range of partners, what are the outcomes that you're looking for from partners? And maybe that's not fair because there's so many different kinds, but I'm wondering if there's any way that you can
let me see if I can.
And then also, how do you measure that?
No, it's a great question. Measurement for partners is always one that is like a challenge, and just you want to crack that. So I'll come back to the measurement in a second. There's a couple of things that from partner outcomes, we want to grow together. So growth is a really big area for us collectively. How do we bring in our co-sell motion? How do we bring lead opportunities to our partners? And how do we accelerate growth and new customer acquisition? So growth for sure is definitely one we'll continue to measure. But innovation also is one. We want to not only just be able to sell with our partners, we want to co-innovate with our partners. The AI for developers is a great example of that. But we want to be able to look at how do we continue to expand on the IP and how do we embed much of that into the Sage network and how do we bring more value together to our mutual customers. So that co-innovation is a very big piece. And so we measure that on the marketplace and Sage's marketplace to be set up there for success.
Yeah.
And then we also have to think about profitability. And so are we making sure that partners can actually have and maintain a profitable practice? And then how do we feed that over time with expansion of additional practice areas, additional products, so that basically our partners who are very good at what they do can expand into adjacent markets. That is another area that we look at, and we build our joint business plans together with our partners to achieve these outcomes together. And then, of course, what is now very important as we have our native cloud products is customer success. And so how do our partners come in to make sure they're bringing real value, the utilization is there, and they're making sure that customers are fully onboarded to what they are purchasing so they see immediate time to value in those implementations. So that is shifting more as we have more growth now in some of the cloud native products that we have. Measurement's an interesting one, and it'll be one I'll be working on. So we'll have to come back and check in on progress. It's really important because we want to show the force multiplier that partners are bringing in the ecosystem, whether they transact with us or not. And so you have to be able to measure in some way to be able to showcase that. So it just brings value back into the partner. So we do standard measurements that you can imagine like anyone. We look at things like revenue and we look at growth. We look at expansion, market penetration numbers with our partners. We also look at capability in terms of what they're able to actually do with their product and capacity. Can they manage 10 customers? Can they manage 100,000 customers? And what does that look like? So we measure those. Where we want to get better is measuring both our indirect and our indirect channel, meaning that not everything has to lead to a transaction, but we want to be able to measure both the influenced engagement as well as the direct engagement with our ecosystem. So we'll have some work to do over time to get there, which will be really fun. But in the meantime, we build together essentially these go-to-market plans that will make sure that we have mutual outcomes that are aligned to our joint priorities.
Yeah. Love that. You just laid out a whole bunch of them.
Yeah. And I'm sure, again, the thing that I would coach partners to continue to think about is there's going to be continuing evolution in this space. And I think people know this. There's just so much that's happening. And the balance of what's on the truck today, and we try to balance out, here's what Sage offers today. And you can you can build an incredible practice, and there's a lot of opportunity, but have one step in the future so that as the customers and the market shift, you're there with us to support that in the long haul. And that's going to take enablement. That's going to take technical sales marketing enablement. It's going to take foundational things, how to do things maybe differently with AI. And so Sage is here to help do all of that, which will be a big component as we move to that AI empowered motion.
That's so important. Just partner enablement, so that because they're you can't be everywhere, right? So they're out there representing Sage, and they need 100%. To be able to answer the right questions 100%. The right way, right?
That's exactly it. And the thing is, the more that we can get our partners to clearly understand the depth technically of our product and capabilities, but also just business questions, getting to standard playbooks, so forth and so on, it just makes our channel highly confident in being able to continue to grow with those customers. So we have to continue, and in my opinion, not take the the foot off the gas on that one. We've got to continue to invest in the practice building and the technical enablement that's going to help them continue to grow in this new AI world. And so we're committed to doing that.
Yeah. Okay, so Gretchen, I want to double click on something you said just a little bit earlier, which I thought was really interesting. You talked about partner profitability, which I think is really, I don't hear that talked about a lot, but I think it's really valuable for partners to know that you're on their side and you're going to help them build a profitable business.
Yeah.
How do you think about that?
Oh, it's one of the things that I think partners that I learned from Sage was having a lot of conversations about, because they might have grown up with Sage, they have an existing practice with Sage, but what are the plans to grow other than through acquisition? What does that look like over time? And it starts with having this profitable practice, and it starts with shifting your revenues to an ARR revenue stream or a recurring revenue stream. And that fundamental shift is going to help start to get these partners in a place of high profitability, and then lowering the costs through things that we're doing, whether that's, again, faster time to implementation for them so they can bring value-added services upstream, making it easy to manage in the case of X3 Cloud, reducing implementation times. These are all things that we want to do on this sort of profitability journey, so that, one, they're growing their top line and we have growth together and big aspirational growth numbers, but they're more efficient in the way that they take people off the bench, they're applying their services to, and that they can hold that value with the customer and make a lot of money doing it. I think it's important that we always talk about revenue, and we always talk about growth, and I would never take anything away from that. But if you can't have a profitable practice, then you start looking, maybe I got to start to expand somewhere else.
Yeah.
And I want all my partners to stay with, I don't want to expand anywhere else, but we have to be committed to helping them grow and grow that profitably. And so that's some of the big areas that we're continuing to invest in and look at, and something that is big for me to make sure that our partners can see the benefits of that.
Yeah. Gretchen, this has been fantastic. Gosh, I really appreciate you taking some time, and congratulations on your
Thank
new
you.
role, and you're
It's
off to
really
a
excited.
great
Yeah.
launch.
We'll have to do another check back as we get closer to Sage Futures. There'll be a lot more, I'm sure, that we'll want to talk about, but it's always fun catching up with you, Chip. It's great to see you, and I appreciate the time.
Let's do that. I'd love to do that.
Excellent.
Yeah. Gretchen, thank you for joining, and thank you all for joining as well. And we will see you next time. Remember to like, share, and subscribe on Substack, and we'll see you all next time. Thanks, everybody.
Thanks.
Thanks, Gretchen.
Thank you.